Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to my kitchen today. And today I'm going to make some burritos to freeze. I had commented to Renee over at Little Village Homestead that this was something I was going to do, and she said make a video. So here I'm finally making that video. And the first thing that I want to do is, as I had shown you in a previous quick tip video, is I'm going to take one of my used butter wrappers and just give my cast iron just a little bit of a coating. This is a new skillet that I got on the anniversary trip, and so I'm still seasoning it, and I want to make sure that I do a good job of that. So once this gets hot, we'll put our meat in. We're using about 2.5 pounds of ground chuck. I plan on making 2 kinds, and so I'm going to divide that up, and let's let this heat up and I'll be right back. So now our cast iron is heated up. I'm going to go ahead and get this huge amount of meat in, and we'll go ahead and we'll start breaking this down. Wash my hands real quick. Always wash your hands good when you're dealing with meat. You want to keep a clean hands. And I always like to, no matter what I'm doing, I like to salt and pepper my ground chuck. I'm using just straight black pepper, and this is some pink Himalayan sea salt, or the Himalayan sea salt. And I'm just going to break this down. I have one of these little concoctions, but sometimes just using that works just as well. But I think I'm going to try it. That might do better with this big amount of meat. So I'm going to continue breaking this meat down, and then when we've got that done, then I'll bring you back. Okay guys, I'm back for just a minute, showing you how this is continuing to break down. Now that I've got it to where it's cooking a little bit better and broken down, I've switched back to my handy trusty tool. If you see Rosebud, she smells cooking, and so of course she's at foot. Guys, I am burning up. I know that it's in the middle of March, but it's hot down here. Yesterday was 80 degrees. It's hot today, to me anyway, here in the house. And tomorrow is supposed to be cool. So, I don't know. But anyway, you know what they say about the weather in Alabama. If you don't like it, just stick around for 5 minutes, because it will change. And I think that the next 24 hours is kind of a day like that. So, I'm going to keep working on this. And when I come back, if you hear a fan in the background, just please overlook it, because your hostess for this video is dying in here, and I have on short sleeves, so it's not like I have on winter clothes, but we'll get through it. We always do every year. What's really fun is the summer, when it's in the 90s or the low hundreds, close to 100, and the humidity in the south is just sometimes unbearable. But anyway, I'll be back in just a second. So our meat, Rosebud, shh. So now our meat, sorry about that guys, but typical day, I'm burning up, and Rosebud is barking at something, I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, is our meat is totally brown now. We can turn that off for a second. And what I'm going to do now is I need to drain the meat. But I want to show you a really neat tip that I found from watching Tangi over at Freedom Homestead. And so let me get everything set up and then I'll show you what I've learned from her. One moment. Okay, so here's what Tangi said to do. What she does is she takes some aluminum foil that will be big enough to go over whatever container you want your grease to go in, and then she just sets her strainer. And I want to tell you guys about this. This belonged to my mother, who has now passed away. This is one of her cooking items that she gave me years ago after she had stopped cooking, and she knew that I was a fairly young mother who needed some different things for the kitchen, and she gave this to me, and I've used it so much. I have other ones, but I just don't use them as much as I use this. This one strainer has been involved in so many holidays, birthdays, get-togethers where my mother was making something, and so it's I know it's a simple thing, and most people it would look like nothing. It would look like something you would probably get at a yard sale, but to me, and the knowledge behind it that it was in my mother's kitchen really means a lot to me, and so I like to use it. I use it all the time. Okay, now here comes the tricky part and the fun part, is watching me move this big old cast iron. For those who, well, most of you probably don't know, but I have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. So sometimes moving something that's kind of big can be a little bit tricky for me. So I have to just do the best I can, but I guess that's what we all do, isn't it? We just do the best we can. So let me get something that might work a little bit better. Let's see. I'll get this. So you don't want all that grease in your burritos, or really anything that you're cooking. So you want to drain all that out, and I'm going to start by just getting some of this out. This is a really heavy cast iron skillet, but we got a really good deal on it. We went to the Lodge outlet store in Pigeon Forge, and they had a scratch and dent section, a clearance section, and I have that on film. I dropped a piece, but Rosebud will be happy for that. That's probably why she was in here barking a minute ago. But anyway, back to Lodge. They had all kinds of good scratch and dent, and of course I'm doing this so the phone rings. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Anyway, so I'm not sure what I was saying, but anyway, I'm going to continue to drain this out. And what I want to show you is what Tangi says to do is, let me get my trusty, there it is. You want to pour all your meat, drain it like this, and then the good thing about that is once you lift it up, all of that grease is going to be contained and you don't have to worry about it getting in your sink or trying to figure out what to do with it in this liquid form. And then if you just leave it like that, it's going to have time to solidify, and then that's going to make it a lot easier to get rid of. And I just dropped a little bit more. Rosebud, there's food in here. Anyway, now I'm going to get this back on the stovetop. I hear her coming Do you hear the pitter patter? She's coming. Okay, everyone, I'm back. Now, what we want to do is we want to start adding our seasoning. The first part of this is going to be all of the same seasonings, and then I'm going to break it up. And what my plan is for half of this, I'm going to have more of just a meat and cheese burrito, and then the other half, I plan on adding some black beans. My husband doesn't really care for the black beans in it, but my daughter and son and myself, we do. But I mean, they'll eat the other two. So first thing I want to do, if you'll remember from my other video, I had made some of this taco seasoning. So it smells so good. And I didn't have a chance to make a second batch of triple or anything because I'm almost out of cumin. But anyway, this is 1/8 of a cup. And what I like to do when I'm dealing with these homemade mixes, and I'm going to do 2 of these 1/8 of a cup because I'm dealing with so much meat. What you have to do when you're dealing with homemade mixes is you kind of have to just experiment to what taste your family likes. Now, I have 1.5 cups of water that I'm going to add to that. And then we want to get that stirred up real good. And I'm going to add other things to this too, but this is just my base seasoning. And once I get this incorporated real good, I'm dropping meat all over the place. By the time I'm through, I'm going to have a pound of meat instead of a little over 2 pounds, aren't I? But you want to take a fork and you want to taste it, because I really can't tell you how much to use, because what your family likes might be different than what my family likes. And, you know, you might like it hotter or like it with more cumin or with less cumin. You might hate cumin. You might like to add more chili powder to it. But I'm going to take a little bitty piece and see where we're at. That's pretty good, but I'm going to add some more. I may end up using all of this because this is really just one thing, and I think I am going to do that because this was just one batch of it. I can't really make a full batch of it until I get my cumin. Rosebud, I'm sorry guys. She's loud, but if any of you live with a little dog in the house, you understand that they'll bark at anything. They'll bark at a squirrel. They'll bark at no squirrel. They'll bark at the mailman. They bark at your kids coming in the door. Just whatever. Now she's being good and being quiet because she's hoping that I'll drop some more meat. Anyway, just letting that incorporate. Now, the next thing that I like to add, if you saw my video, I made my homemade pepper mix. Oh my gosh, that stuff smells so good. And I want to add some of that to it because we really love it. Now, I'm going to start off with one tablespoon, because you got to remember this is you know, it's ground up. I'm going to do 2 because this is a lot of meat. See how I just changed my mind on a whim? I'm not really a recipe person when it comes to things like this. Now, baking, most of the time when I'm baking something, yeah, I'm going to use a recipe because baking is a science. But when it comes to stovetop kind of cooking, then I say go for it. Just kind of experiment. And I always like to add a little bit more pepper because I don't think salt and pepper ever hurt anybody unless you just go in it excess. Now the next thing that I do want to add to all of this is I have some of my home canned salsa, and this was canned back in August of 2017. So I want to open that up. And one thing that I always do when I open up any kind of home canned good is I'm going to smell it and look at it and examine it, because I don't want to add any botulism to my family. We don't need that. Nobody needs that. That can be dangerous. But home canned goods, you just can't beat them. The only thing I have to say is it's not hard to home can. You just have to use common sense and safety first, and have the right equipment. Have the right equipment for the job. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my home canned salsa. And in the summertime, when I make some more of this, I'll have to bring you along to see how I do that. This is a recipe that my sister and I got years ago, and I don't think either one of us uses a different salsa now. I'm going to let this simmer. Rosebud, Miss Rosebud. I've got to get her on camera and let y'all see this little loud voice of hers. She's the size of a minute. I mean, she runs on batteries, but she is so loud. She is so loud. I'm gonna let this just simmer for just a little bit. Rosebud, you want a piece of meat? Rosebud, oh, listen to this. Rosebud, I dropped it. All I have to say is I dropped it, and here she comes. So, let me try this and see if I need to add anything. Like I said, you just kind of have to taste and see. You know, sometimes it doesn't need more. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you just want it a little hotter, you know. That's good. I'm gonna add a little bit more, a little garlic to it though. You can really taste that salsa. And this is my little bit less that I have left of the cumin. That's it. Look at that. So I've definitely got to get some more cumin. I don't know why I'm putting that back on there when it's empty. Okay. I'm just going to let this cook. And I do have one disclaimer. My family will all be home at lunch. The husband usually comes home. He's blessed that he can come home at lunch most days. And my son will be able to come home at lunch today. And my daughter, who's a senior at the high school, has early dismissal. And so she usually gets to eat lunch at home just a little bit later. So my disclaimer is I'm going to feed my family this, and then I'm going to use what's left for my frozen burritos. You know, why would I not? It's lunchtime. Why would I not use it, right? Okay. I'll be back after we... So now the family has had their lunch, and I'm ready to continue on. This is cold now, so that's good. That'll be easy to work with. So I've divided my mixture up into two. And one side, this is going to be the meat and cheese only, and the side that's a little bit less is going to be the bean and beef mixture along with the cheese. So I'm not quite as poised at doing this as Miss Renee was from Little Village Homestead, but I'll give it my best shot. We just usually roll it up and forget about it. Okay, so you want a little bit of cheese and you want your meat mixture. You don't want to over stuff it, but you do want to have enough. And you roll over roll sides. You want to make sure that that's in good. And then you just roll like that. It's not really hard. It's just a matter of just kind of practicing some. And what I'm going to do after I get all of these together is going to make it even easier to keep it all together too. I'll show you one more. And I do this different each time too. Roll in, roll over. And you want to make sure that that's all rolled under itself. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish just my meat and cheese mixture, and when I have that done, then we'll go on to the bean. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all of those done, and now the next thing I want to do is get my bean and beef burritos ready. And I just have a can of my home canned black beans. And remember, when you open them, even with this, it's sometimes hard to get that sealed. Well, there we go. You still always want to give them a good smell and make sure that they're good. And then I'm just going to drain them. And there's not that many in this. This was just a pint. So there's not really even that many black beans. But it will just give a little bit of an added texture to it. And you could do two, if you had 2 pints, you could do that, a quart. If you don't have your own home canned beans, you could, just get a can from the store. You wouldn't have to do black beans. You could do pinto beans. You could even do kidney beans to make it more of a chili type consistency. You know, there's just so many things that you can do when you're making a burrito. You just have to do it to what your family likes. So I'm going to rinse this now, and then once again I'll be back. Okay, so I have my rinsed beans in with my meat mixture, and I'm just mixing that up real good, get it incorporated into the mixture. No one wants to have all beans and no meat, or all meat and no beans if they're expecting to have beans in there. So we've got that good and ready. I need to open another bag of burritos, and I get the large burrito size tortilla. And they are pretty big too, I tell you. Okay, so here we go. We start our assembly again, and nothing has changed. I'll start with some cheese and then my mixture. At this point, if you wanted to, you could add other things. I don't add sour cream to freeze because I don't think that it freezes well as a ingredient in here. Same thing with lettuce, things like that. I think you would do better to maybe have a salad on the side with your lettuce, and also to do like my daughter does. She gets her sour cream and just kind of dips it afterwards. So I'm going to finish the beans, and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, now we're back at the stove, and now I have my griddle that I got from Lodge. And what I'm going to do here is I'm turning both of my burners on about an 8 for right now so that I can get it really warm. And I'm taking another one of my butter wrappers. Y'all know I like using my butter wrappers. And I'm just giving it a little bit of a coating just to get a little bit of that goodness on there from the butter wrapper. And I'll put that to the side because we may or may not need it again. So what I'm going to do to all of my burritos before I freeze them is I want to get just a little bit of a grill to them, so that when they're reheated, they're not real soft and mushy. They actually have a little bit of a crunch to them. So we're going to get these ready. And just to let you know, I'm not the best burrito wrapper person in the world, so some of these look a little wonky, but you know, in the end they'll still get eat, so that's the main thing. The first few turned out really good, but then I don't know, I guess I got tired. But anyway, that's okay. We're going to put these on here with the seam side down, and what that's also going to do is that it's going to kind of make that seam adhere to the bottom part of your burrito. So that's good, and you can fit a good many of these on here. Now, at this point, we really want to watch them, though, because once this cast iron gets really, really hot, this will go quick. It doesn't seem like it in the beginning, but like this first one that I put down, it's already starting to adhere. And once this gets really fiery hot, it will definitely go by quick. But I like to do that because I just think it gives it a little bit of an extra bit of texture, and you got that good grill taste to it. So and I kind of mush them down, or I should say I kind of press them down a little bit, but mush, squish, press down. See how that's doing? See how that's adhering? And the contents inside are all, like I said, they're cold. That's cold because I had waited until after the family ate their lunch before I resumed the video. So just check them ever so often. This is going to take a minute to get hot, so once again, I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're ready to check these. So as you can see, you're starting to get that good brown. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? So, ooh, that's hot. We can go ahead and move these. That one needs a little bit longer. I think it's the ones on the side that need just a little bit longer. I'm gonna get my tongs because that is hot, hot, hot. Let's see how that's doing. Yeah, that one's good. I need just a little longer. Okay, now I think that one's pretty good. We can take it off. And that one. And then what I'm going to do is these will move over to this warm side. What do y'all think about that? I think that's pretty good too. I'll go ahead and move this one over. It doesn't, like I said, once this cast iron gets going, it is hot. It is almost so hot that you can burn yourself easily. So we'll go ahead and put these on. Okay, I'm going to finish these, and when I'm through, we'll work on the beans. Okay, and now we're on to the bean and beef. These are not quite as pretty because my old RA fibro hands were getting a little bit tired of the rolling, but it sure will come in handy at lunch or for a quick meal when I'm not feeling well, or when we've got a lot going on, and so that will be really nice. See, this is the second go around, so these are going a lot quicker than the other ones. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And one thing I do also, if my seam is not in the middle, I'm kind of just putting it to the side just to kind of make sure that I get that seam down. And you will have some that may try to burn. Oh, and they do burn. Let me get these turned over. You can't, this cast iron, when the cast iron starts going, it's quick. Okay, I'm gonna finish these and then we'll start wrapping them up. Those are all done. I finally get to sit down. I have to tell you, my kitchen is so hot, and that's with the air conditioning on, and I still have this fan going. I think it's just that cast iron. I'm telling you, cast iron heats up really hot. Anyway, so this is a sweet tea kind of afternoon. You wouldn't have thought it of me, would you? Or maybe you would. We'll have to do a video on Southern sweet tea sometime. Not all of us like our sweet tea tasting like sugar. Well, some do. Some of us don't. Anyway, back to the burritos. The next thing I want to do with my burritos is I'm going to take a piece of, like, you know, saran wrap, the plastic, and you want to wrap your burrito in that, just like that. This works good for the microwave, and it's just one more, you know, wall of protection against freezer burn. But the other thing that I do after that is I take aluminum foil. Now, you don't have to do this. You can just put it in a, you know, put it in a Ziploc bag. Hope you could hear that. I said Ziploc bag. If you don't want to use aluminum foil. I know some people just, they don't like to use aluminum foil. But for this particular thing, I do. And you can always come up with another use afterwards. And I have the heavy duty, and I just, you know, divide it in two. And then I just wrap it again. Just wrap it again. Like that. And then what I'll do is with my Sharpie, see where you can see it, beef burrito, and always, you want to always put your date, 3/19. You don't have to be so specific that you put the day of the month, but you want to put the month and the year. Just because if you're like me and a lot of people, you have so much stuff crammed in your freezers that if you don't label it somehow, you're not going to know what it is. You're not going to know if this is a beef burrito, if it's a beef and bean, if it's a breakfast burrito, if it's, you know, a hot dog, whatever. You know, you're just not going to know. It's just a good practice to get into. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'll continue on. And once I've got all of these ready for the freezer, then I'll be back. But let's do one more together. Oh, don't you hate the way that plastic does? I hate that. Okay. I guess you've noticed that I'm showing you the pretty ones. I'm not showing the ugly ones. You can't blame me. Who wants to show the ugly ones when they have some pretty ones, right? Show you my pretty burritos. And like I said, you got that wrapped, and then you just wrap it again. Now remember, if you put this in the microwave, you're not going to put the aluminum foil in there because that could be disastrous. Beef burrito, 3/19. There's so many good uses for having foods like this. Like I said, I have some chronic illnesses, and this is a quick meal for my family. If you have, you know, I also have family that comes at different times. My husband has one shift of work, you know, and my son, he just finished college in December. Before that, it was going to school and working. Now he has some weird shifts at work. My daughter, she works, but she also is a senior in high school, so she has some different shifts. If one of them comes in late at night from a late night shift, then, you know, I don't have to worry. If, you know, I can give them this if I don't have something else for them, or for lunch, you know, for whatever. It's just an easy go-to. So anyway, we did 2 together. I'm going to finish these. I'm going to finish wrapping them up and then labeling them, and then once again for about the 5th, 6th time maybe, I'll be right back. Okay, so now that all those burritos are done, Rosebud and I believe are just going to relax a little bit, right? Yes, this is the Barker. So, woof woof. I do feel a little bit bad though, because she was just trying to tell me that the FedEx man had brought some deliveries. Well, I guess it was the FedEx man. Anyway, it had some Amazon Prime deliveries. Didn't we? Say hello. Say hello, YouTube. Now she's avoiding. Say bye. Say subscribe to my mommy's channel. Thanks, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the I hope you all enjoyed the burrito video. I am so tired and I am so hot in this house, but everything's working. I don't know, it's just me. And it's supposed to be cool tomorrow, so then I'll probably be cold and want the heat on. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye.